Hey there everyone, welcome to this week's UB Chef Cook Along. I'm about to get cooking with 10 dishes, so I get all the dishes, I'm going to show you how to go through each one. Make sure you get all the little pots, match them up to the recipe first of all laid out nicely so you know what you're doing ahead of time. Really easy to put them together. You do get a little bit of extra sauce, a little bit extra vinaigrette. You don't need to put a whole lot on the plate. It's up to you, of course, you're the chef, but for now, let's get cooking. So first up is my weekly bake course. What we've got, I've got these lovely spice crackers just here. So you see we've got a little bit of curry spice in there. They smell absolutely delicious. This is going to go in the oven for about 2 to 3 minutes just to warm them up. When they come out, let them cool slightly, and then I've got, this is our compostable backpack bag, so you go right in your food waste. In here is Babaganoush. This is a spiced aubergine paste. So we char the aubergines just on the stove, and then we mix them with some lovely spices, tomatoes, I like tomatoes. Blend it up, you've got lovely puree just in there. Make sure that's out at room temperature, really important. And then I've got a little spiced pepper salsa just on here. So 2 to 3 minutes in the oven, I'll be back and show you how to put this together. So I'm just finishing off the crackers here. I piped my Babaganoush just on top. Those lovely warming spiced crackers. That's at room temperature, really important. And then I've got my Piquillo pepper salsa just here. A little bit of heat in there. We've mixed it with some roasted normal red peppers as well. Oh, like so. I'm just going to get my little plate. You can serve it on what you like really, but I quite like putting it on here. Nice bit of grains, one for me at the end, and there we go. Straight to the table, lovely plate of crackers, weekly bake done. So my first starter for you is a lovely cured fillet of stone bass. So in here, you've got the stone bass. I've just snipped that open. Remember the bag, all that's in, the board that it's on the back, the greaseproof paper, the pot, the piping bag, it's all compostable. Really important as to the UB Chef being completely sustainable, and by the end of this year, 95% of our box is going to be compostable. What about that? So, got my recipe card just there. There's my little pumpernickel croûtes. Take off the bit of paper which is just on top of your bass fillet. And I'm going to get a little pair of tweezers, just here. I'm just going to take some of those slices and I'm just going to arrange them all over my plate. And then we're going to go with a lovely bit of pickled red cabbage on the top of here. So basically get those lovely pieces of cured fish. And we'll just arrange them nicely around, like so. So one last one to go on that. Then we'll come back to some of our pickled red cabbage. This is just, of course, on their lovely crunch and, of course, that beautiful colour. So try and just get it so that you can still see some of the fish. You don't want to just cover it all up. So that's all going around nicely. And again, watch where you put it, because of course the red cabbage will dye the plate quite easily. You can give it a wipe after, but much easier if it goes straight in the place where it's going to go. So a few more pieces there. That's enough of our red cabbage. Quick little wipe, as I said. There we go. Right, cauliflower puree is next up. So just snip off one little corner of your piping bag, and then I'm just going to really carefully start piping nice little piles, just like that. Make sure you squeeze the piping bag from the end and guide it with the other finger. So a few more in there. We want a good bit of cauliflower puree on this one. So, one last bit, there we go. Then, let's get some of our lovely little pumpernickel croûtes. Just get those in there, like so. Really nice crunch on here. And then final thing to do, touch of rapeseed oil. If you don't have it, olive oil is absolutely fine, but rapeseed oil, we just get that lovely colour, and that's going to combine with the red cabbage, pickled red cabbage, to make a lovely little dressing. And that is it. There it is, cured fillet of stone bass for your starter, cauliflower puree, pickled red cabbage. So, 'tis for season. This starter for you now is a lovely game terrine. So, got my recipe card here. Game terrine comes to you all wrapped up in a lovely little bit of YBC paper. So, you've got your backing board and paper, that can go in the compost bin. Get your pair of scissors, and you see I'm just gonna slip off the film from the outside, peel that off, and then a little bit of rapeseed oil just on the top. And then you can use back of a spoon, palette knife, your finger, just it will work that rapeseed oil into the terrine, and then you get a lovely, lovely shine from it. Tiny bit of Molten salt on the top, and really, really important again that this terrine is up at room temperature when you serve it. That's really, really important. So I'm going to put my terrine on the plate. Best thing is now let that come up to room temperature. So garnishes. Here I've got a lovely little kohlrabi remoulade, so a touch of mayonnaise in there. We've got capers, we've got gherkins, we've got parsley. Here I've got some little pickled slices of kohlrabi, and I've got my elderberry dressing just there. Then in the oven, I'm just going to pull out my game croquette. So this is at about 6 minutes in the oven. There it is. So what we've done, in the actual terrine we've got venison, which we've done as a little pastrami. We've got partridge in there, we've got pheasant going through it as well. We've got some smoked grouse breast, and then the legs we've made into the croquette just here. So what I'm going to do, put my croquette just there. And I'm going to take a nice little pile of the remoulade. This is just like, you know, it's got all those pickles going through there, so lovely flavours that are going to go nicely with the terrine. So you can quenelle this on 2 spoons if you like, but I like to keep it nice and loose together, like so. And then what I'm going to do, let's get one of my slices of pickled kohlrabi just on the top, cleaning my board. Let's get a spoon, let's get some of my dressing. So here we've got pickled elderberries. Careful where you drop them because they will almost like stain the plate, so try and drop them exactly where you want them to be. A few more there. Give it a little stir. We've got rapeseed oil going through there, and look at that lovely little dressing. Beautiful colour from the elderberries, which we did indeed forage ourselves. A bit more. This is looking stunning. So seasonal, so simple. There we go. A little bit of a clean up just on the side of that plate there. And that is my game terrine. Recipe card alongside. Take that to your table, and that's definitely going to impress. My vegetarian starter this week, we've got a soup. So this is a Jerusalem artichoke velouté, just in here. It's just going to go on the stove. You need to bring it up to a simmer, but don't let it boil for too long, because if it boils, the flavour's going to go, it's going to reduce, it'll be too thick. Then we made a little brioche. So this is a little caramelised shallot thyme brioche, all going through the dough in there. This is going to go in the oven about 4 to 5 minutes. In there it goes. And then the garnishes, I've got my lovely little truffle butter here, truffle and parmesan butter just on there. I've got chopped chives and they're ready to go. And I've got this lovely little mushroom salsa, mushroom and truffle salsa. They're all out of room temperature. I'll be back in a few minutes once my soup and my brioche is all heated up, and we'll get the soup plated up. So, artichoke soup is all heated up there. Got my hot bowl. I've got a little plate to serve the brioche on. So let's grab that out. Okay. So what we'll do, let's get our velouté in the bowl. Get all that out. And it's ultra smooth. Jerusalem artichoke, one of my favourite ingredients. Then I'm going to get a nice big spoon of truffle salsa. I'm going to get another little spoon. It's a little trick. You just put them together like so, and you just kind of curl it between both spoons. Let's get that in there. There we go. Let's get a few chives on the top. Now I'm going to add a little bit of rapeseed oil, just for that lovely little colour on the top of it. Right, let's get my brioche. And again, tiny little bit of rapeseed oil, brings a lovely shine to it. serrated knife and just cut that through. Not all the way though, just enough, like that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my butter and I'm going to open that up. Look at that, how delicious. I'm going to serve that just on the side. A little bit of molten salt on the top. And there we go. That's your lovely little Jerusalem artichoke velouté, the truffle salsa in there, parmesan butter, that shallot brioche. Really, really tasty vegetarian starter. So here is my fish main course now for this week's Uber Chef menu. What it is, I've got a fillet of cod just here. This is poached in beurre noisette. So when you get butter and you cook it on the stove, you keep on cooking it, it goes nutty, really nut brown. It can burn quite quickly, so you need to put it off the stove, but at that point you get this lovely nutty flavour, smell coming off. So the cod's all in there, it's all in butter. The cod's been salted as well to make it nice and firm, then we've rinsed it off. What's going to happen with this, I'm going to just lower it carefully into a pan, simmering water. So it's going to go into that water and I'm going to have it on just a really, really low simmer for about 4 to 5 minutes, first of all. And then once that is done, I'm going to turn the heat off. Then I'm going to cover it on the top, another 4 or 5 minutes just left in the water, okay? If you like your fish a little bit less done, just drop this time down to 2 or 3 minutes and then the extra time down to sort of 3 or 4 minutes. And again, you can feel it. It shouldn't, when you touch it, it shouldn't just break away straight away, because if it does that, it's overcooked, okay? So that cod's going to be happy sat in there. Right, let's get on to our garnishes. So I've got lovely little herb potato cake just here, and some panko breadcrumbs, and I've got a little cabbage ballantine as well, spring cabbage around the outside, Savoy cabbage in the centre, a few vegetables. Tip for you, just put a little bit of water just in a tray before that goes in the oven, and then both of these are going to go in the oven now at 8 minutes. So, in there you go. Remember the cooking time on everything, 190 degrees, you haven't got to muck about changing the temperature. And then when we come back, you see there, I've got a deviled shrimp butter just in here. This has got lots of different herbs and spices in it. It's got Tabasco, it's got a bit of ketchup, gherkins, so much going on in there. That's going to go on the heat. I'm going to bring it up to simmering and then just take it off straight away. You don't want to kind of split out from over boiling it. And then I've got a lovely bit of crispy cabbage just to go on top of the cod. So I'm going to wait for this for my extra about 2 minutes now, and then I'm going to turn the heat off, and then we'll be back in about 8 minutes. We'll plate this cod dish up. So cod is now being that water turned off for about 5 minutes. That's my deviled shrimp butter there. You see what I've done? I've just heated it up. I added a touch of water to it and just give it a good little toss just as it warms up, and you'll see it will emulsify together nicely. So get your cod. So I've got a little lifter here, but be really, really delicate with it, because that cod is of course now cooked. Let's get that on our tray. I've got a little bit of drainage paper just underneath it, just to help. And then I'm gonna just very, very carefully, use scissors if you prefer, just cut open that vacuum pack bag, like so. And then let's get our piece of cod. Look at that, just starting to flake. So, little drain on there. I'm not going to put any extra seasoning on the top of that, because for me, it's got enough. Now I've got my cabbage, which I'm just going to drain off. There's my cabbage, all nice. Right, let's get a little palette knife just underneath that cod, like so. Just on the plate, and you can get, you smell that lovely little smell of beurre noisette coming off there. Is absolutely beautiful. There's our potato cake. So next up, let's get my deviled shrimp butter, some on top of the cod. Honestly, this shrimp butter is just absolutely awesome. So rich, a little bit of spice coming through. Really, really nice. Then let's get a little bit of my crispy cabbage, a little bit on the top, like so. And there it is. That is a super tasty fish main course for you. Cod poached in beurre noisette, lovely little potato cake, cabbage ballantine, and that awesome piquant spiced butter. For our meat main course this week, a little treat, we've got this Pithivier of slow cooked short rib beef. So in there, the short rib, basically we've roasted it, and then we've cooked it very, very slowly with black treacle and thyme. So you've got some serious flavours going on in here. Then at the bottom of here, you can't see it, it's all inside, you've got a fondant potato. Then you've got the picked down short rib, all in this lovely puff pastry, a little bit of picked thyme on the top, a little bit of decoration. Gonna taste absolutely gorgeous. So this needs to go in the oven about 25 to 30 minutes, or until the pastry is lovely and golden brown. Just before it goes in, up to you, but I like to put a little bit of salt just on the top. It's completely optional. Then let's get that in the oven. So here it goes, 190 degrees. It's got a little bit of Hubie Chef paper underneath, which is non-stick. Then the garnishes, when we come back, celeriac puree, just here, lovely and smooth. Red wine beef sauce with a touch of that black treacle and thyme going through it. Then we've got some carrot fondants. They're going to go in the oven about 8 to 10 minutes just to heat up. Cavolo Nero in the oven about 8 minutes again. So you've got those with the garnishes. Lovely tasty main course coming up. I'll be back in about 25-30 minutes. I'm going to show you putting this beautiful Pithivier together. So out comes my Pithivier. Look at that in all its glory. Just onto my tray, like so. Right, now I've got my beef sauce, which is just there, celeriac puree, hot plate. Okay, let's get plating this one. So what we're going to do first of all, again, completely up to you how you plate this, but I'm going to get a lovely little bit of that Cavolo Nero. Going to get that in the centre. And what I'm doing there is creating a lovely little base to sit my Pithivier on, so just really get that where you want it. Then carrot fondants. Let's get them around like so. Onto the celeriac puree. Give that a little stir. I love celeriac with beef. Really, really lovely flavour. So, nice little spoon. Like so. Turn a plate. And another one. Turn the plate, just like that. Then let's get our Pithivier. Carefully, sit that in the middle, pride of place. There it is. All that's left is our beef sauce. So, a little bit, just falling down that Pithivier, not too much, just a bit. And then keep quite close in with the sauce so you don't spoil your presentation. And there you go. Extra sauce on the table. That is my super tasty Pithivier slow cooked short rib, fondant potato inside, celeriac puree, carrot fondants. It's all going on. I hope you enjoy it. So we're on to our vegetarian main course this week on the Hubie Chef menu. So you've got your recipe card here, remember, you've got all the elements just listed down the side, get all those things together and then you're ready to go. So first of all, miso cabbage, here it is. So remember, these containers that we send it in, these are biocane containers. They can go in the oven and they can bake up to about 220 degrees, so absolutely fine at 190. And at the end, they can go straight in the bin, but if they end up in landfill, of course they are going to biodegrade. Without any harm to the environment, or you can put them in your food waste bin where they will compost. So let's just carefully cut open our bag with a cabbage, and here we go. You got this lovely big piece of cabbage inside. Look at that, all roasted. Let's just get rid of our bag there, and that's going to go into the oven. This has been cooked with miso already, it's got chives on the top, it's got seasoning, so let's get that in the oven now. That goes 10 to 12 minutes. Then here we've got some rainbow radishes, so you see you've got the pink, purple, white ones all going on. We've left these lovely little bits on the end, presentation of course. They're going to go in the oven literally 1 to 2 minutes just to warm them up. We've got a radish cream which is going to warm up just on the edge of the stove. And then we've got some crispy kale, which is just going to go on the top, as well as these little, look at those lovely little pickled mushrooms on the top. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes, and we're going to get all these ingredients, put them together for our main course. So let's get our plate all ready for the cabbage. There you go. And I've just warmed that radish cream up, just in a pan. Mushrooms are all ready. So let's get our cabbage and radishes out. So that cabbage has been about 12 minutes now. The radishes are literally just in the oven, just to warm them up. So again, I'm going to put a tiniest bit of molten salt on top of the cabbage, a little bit of rapeseed, just to give it a lovely little shine. And then we're all ready to plate. So first of all, let's get our radish cream, so we make that with mouli. Let's get that on the plate, and I want a really nice circle of that. This is on which to sit our cabbage, so that's all good to go. So let's get our cabbage out. So what I suggest you do is first of all get it onto your board, and you can just tidy it up a little bit. I'm just going to trim that down. Remember, all about the presentation and of course the flavour, but I want to trim that so you've got a lovely little point. Look at that beautiful chard. Let's just sit that pride of place right in the centre, lovely. And then let's get some of our roasted radishes on. A few going around the plate. Try and kind of mix up the colours a little bit as well. See, you've got those lovely lines all going around. This is looking lovely, really beautiful. So lots of radishes on. Let's just get that bit of cabbage out of the way. Then I'm going to get some of my, so it's going on outside. Hear all the sirens. So let's get those mushrooms. See how they just, that lovely white going against that roasted cabbage. A few of those dotted around. Spend the time, looking lovely. And then, just lastly, a few pieces of nice roasted kale, sorry, fried kale. This is miso fried kale. Just on the top, like so. Remember, I want to see everything here. A little bit of that golden rapeseed to finish off. And there you go. How about that for a vegetarian main course? Miso roasted cabbage, radish cream, roasted radishes, miso fried kale, pickled mushrooms. So I've got a lovely little Granny Smith apple posset here for you. So it comes in this nice little glass dish, which of course you can reuse after. How about that? So you've got the posset set in here, Granny Smith apple. Make sure that is out, room temperature, 10 to 12 minutes before you're going to serve it. I'm just going to get my donuts. So in here you've got little wild blackberry donuts. We've got a licorice sugar. These need to go in the oven about 2 to 3 minutes only. So not long. I'm just going to get them in there quick. And then I've got my licorice sugar just here. So it's a lovely little sugar with licorice root. So it's not Bertie Bassett in there. This is just that nice little licorice root blitzed into the sugar. Really nice. What I'm going to do is get my compote. So this is a nice little compote of wild blackberries, which we've foraged here on the island. I'm going to spoon that on top and then just spread that out. Try not, you don't want to flatten it down because it's just going to look like a bit uninteresting, but I want to get all that compote on the top of there and just nicely tamper it out like so. Apple, blackberry, match made in heaven, I know. There you go. So that's all on there. That's all been warming up, of course. Let's get that onto my serving plate, like so. I'm going to get my donuts out. Here we go. And then all you need to do, get them into your sugar and just give them a little roll around. They've got that lovely blackberry centre. And just before you put them on the plate, just give them a little tap off. There's one there. So lovely and light. So nicely coated. You can of course use this licorice sugar after something else. It lasts quite well in the fridge. There's two. Onto our final one. So I'm just giving it a little shake. Just empty the sugar into a little dish like I've done. That'll make it a bit easier to plate. There we go. So that's our first dessert. Granny Smith apple posset. That lovely little compote on the top, and those warm blackberry and licorice donuts. Hope you enjoy. So I've got a lovely little sea buckthorn and white chocolate cheesecake here for you. Ginger nuts just on the bottom. Make sure you have it out at room temperature, about 10-15 minutes just before you're going to serve it. Get a palette knife and just ease that onto your plate like so. Then what I'm going to do, snip off the end of your piping bag, which has got the buckthorn curd in. So sea buckthorn is sort of a cross between orange and passion fruit. We forage it here on the island. So I'm just going to pipe a few little ones just on the side, and then I'm going to also go with a few dots on the top. Really, really different flavour, but absolutely beautiful. Then, see, I've got some little vanilla meringues here. Let's just get a few of those, like so. Stand it up, and then we've got this nice little bit of honeycomb chocolate. I'm just going to get a few of those pieces. Keep this in the fridge, obviously, last second until you need it. It's really, really important. And then it will stay lovely and crisp where it's been tempered. So a touch more chocolate on there. We are about ready to go. There we go. So that is my sea buckthorn, white chocolate, cheesecake, buckthorn gel, honeycomb chocolate and vanilla meringue. So a bit of a different cheese course for you now coming up. We've got a lovely little twice baked souffle. This has been made with Montgomery's cheddar, smoked cheddar. So that's all in there. We've got a lovely little glaze that's on the top. This is going to go in the oven for now for about 10 to 12 minutes. It's going to rise up, it's going to go lovely and golden brown. That's how you tell it's all ready to go. We've got a tomato chutney here, tomato and chilli chutney, touch of spice going on. And then we've got a lovely little herb salad. So nice little salad leaves, herbs going through. Keep that in the fridge until last second. And then you've got a little bit of vinaigrette, classic vinaigrette, just to dress this through. So I'm going to get this in the oven now, 10 to 12 minutes, and then we're going to be back and I'm going to show you how to put my cheese course together. So just about ready to plate my souffle, so I'm getting a little bit of a classic vinaigrette into the salad. Tiny bit of seasoning. Let's just give that a nice mix around, like so. Really, really light, but you want vinaigrette around all of the leaves. And before our souffle comes out, we're on a bit of a time sensitive period now, so let's get our chutney, tomato, chilli. So we've got Isle of Wight tomatoes, red chilli, all going through there. Just get that on our plate, and let's get some of our salad leaves. And I'm just gonna start building them around. So this is the souffle is quite rich with that smoked flavour of Montgomery's cheese going through it. So again, I want a nice zippy salad to go through. So you've got pieces of parsley, you've got chives in there, a little bit of dill. Let's get all that nicely on. You can use a little pair of chefy tweezers to do this if you prefer. But I want to act nice and quickly now. I don't want my souffle overcooking. So a few more. Again, nice bit of height. Play with the colours. Good to go, I'm happy with that. Final bit of vinaigrette. Just around the outside. And let's get our souffle. Lovely and risen. Out it comes. Beautiful golden top. Get that palette knife underneath. And just sit that in between. Tiny bit of rapeseed, and I don't need to tell you, straight to the table, really, really quick.